Hi, welcome to my set of videos. This is Patricia Ann Landon Regali, Chief Little Flower, coming at you from the trenches of having been targeted. I am a targeted individual that have been targeted since about the age of 25 for about a couple of years. Then it would recess into the background on and off until the year of COVID, about 2020, whenever gang stalking had reemerged in full force and full effect. At the time of this recording, it is November 2024, and the gang stalking, the PSYOP assignments still continue. And so my videos they're about my experiences as a targeted individual. I had been railroaded out of a successful and thriving career as a paramedic. I've been a paramedic for about 13 years before I walked away from my profession as a paramedic for two reasons. The first one was so I could speak freely about being heavily targeted and gang stalked in medical facilities by other medical professionals. If I were to hold a job in the medical world, that would be a huge conflict of interest for me and any potential employer. And so I have a passion for sharing this with the world because what's happened to me can happen to anybody. And if we were to shrink in fear, how would anybody ever rise up to protect themselves and to arm themselves with the knowledge of objective data? And additionally, since I was being targeted in the medical world, I knew it was a matter of time before somebody was paid to bear false accusations against my license. In other words, it was a matter of time before people would just make false accusations on my license. So those were the two reasons why I had nobly walked away from my career as a paramedic. And so I decided not to renew my license, because if my license was inert and non-viable, nobody could make any accusation against it. So I stayed 10 steps ahead of the community-based harassment. And so these videos are about my thoughts, they're about my experiences as a heavily targeted individual. So thank you for stopping. Hey, so it's a gorgeous day out here. It's been raining. I love the rain. And the road here is highly traveled, so you know you get a lot of ambient noise from it, but it's a trade-off. Nice to sit outside and do videos. I've been pondering, as I usually am in a pondering of some sort, problem solving, thinking, but you know, I've been heavily targeted. I say about the age of 25. That was really about 23 to 25, somewhere in there, for about a couple of years. We'll just ballpark it. Really hard. I can tell you the differences between being targeted back then and being targeted now. But it recessed, you know, on and off until the year of COVID. And so, but when it emerged in full force, where it was like in my face, in my face, in my face, in my face, at Texas Renaissance Festival, in my eyes, you have a didactic, and then you have your lab practical. The Renaissance Festival would be the lab practical. And so, but the irony of it was that whenever the gang stalking emerged there, like I've heard some other Rennie say, it just didn't stop there, and it just kept going and going and going and going. That's pretty much what it was like for me, what it's been like for me. It's just going and going and going and going. But back then, explaining to somebody what gang stalking was, they're like, what? I could give mad respect back then 2020, during the year 2020, that if you said you didn't know what it was, I for the most part believed you. But somebody says they don't know what it is today, for the most part, I'm like in disbelief. I'm like, that's because you're part of the problem. You're part of the roaches we need to exterminate from society, the gang stalkers. So if you reptilians make up the majority of the gang stalking, you're putting your own species in the category of cockroaches. I'd fix that if I were you. So, but back then, during the year 2020, whenever I would explain to somebody what the gang stalking was, I said, give it about 4 years, and it will be household knowledge. And well, it's been about 4 to 5 years since this is 2024, coming up on 2025. It's beyond household knowledge. It is more like practicum, where it's common practice for what? A third of the populace that participate in getting their little paws greased by the government grubbing, godforsaken gang stalking. That's a lot. You want to make sure, we as a populace, as a country, should want to make sure that the fulcrum doesn't get tipped, which is we should want to make sure that the balance of our country doesn't become 2/3 of the gang stalking populace. So I find it ironic that 4 to 5 years later, my prediction has come to pass, but not in ways I was imagining. It was more like in ways of, it's more than household knowledge. Your gang stalking populace has burgeoned beyond being household knowledge into being participants of it. So it's kind of like, what are we going to see in the next 4 to 5 years? Well, my hopeful prediction is we're going to see it squashed. We're going to see it abolished. So, that's the age of Aquarius. Everything done in the shadows comes to light. But I do want to say, with regards to all of this gang stalking BS, how many of you are participating in it? I'm like, what's the hook, line, and sinker? What did they, when I say they, the treason part of the government, you know, the part of the government that passed out the smallpox blankets to the Indian on the Oregon Trail of Tears, where the government has pandered to egos, materialistic desires, throw money at you, make you become the rabid monkey, flying monkey, to do the horse dance of prostituting your integrity, prostituting your ethics, prostituting your morality, to do your diabolic, demonic psyop assignments, to create instability in your targets, to get them to commit suicide so the rest of you assholes can cash out others from existence. Well, whatever it was that they said to you, I still have a hope for humanity. I would like to think, so here's the deal. For those of you who have participated in it, the pandemic, I believed in the government before all of this. There was not an iota of me that would have ever thought that any of it was orchestrated. But as it is, and what we know now, and what we have experienced as a populace, seems to point towards orchestration being summarized as the term the plandemic. Well, from what I gather, the plandemic was meant to destabilize, obviously, to also make the general populace more susceptible into participating as gang stalkers. But I say that to say that if you're participating in it and you know it's bad, today is always a good day to get up out of it, to hit reset for yourselves and for your families. Get right with yourselves. Tell the truth. Amend your salvation. Stay the course. And bring other souls with you. It's never too late to hit reset, is my point here. And so if you got duped into it and you're feeling hella guilty about it, that's a life-preserving mechanism, because at root base, nobody's perfect, but we shouldn't be so browbeaten into thinking that once you dug yourself into a hole that there's nowhere to go but down, because that's an illusion. Because you get up out of it, you have the forthright, the fortitude to bring this beast down, this gang stalking, Nazi death machine from the inside out. Be the prodigal family, the prodigal child that comes home to serve the light. It's never too late for that. Unless, of course, you don't have command of your faculties anymore because you ripped an aneurysm. And the gang stalking community of the medical world, we'll put a pin in that, come back to it later. Because remember, there's a trifecta in all of this. The trifecta of gang stalking is the primary, is the benefits that the because it's a sad satanic sacrifice culture. If you're gang stalked, that's because they intend to cast you out from existence. So for all you gang stalkers participating in it, hear me when I say this. You all are murderers. You all are murderers. You are operating in Auschwitz 2.0. And all of your PSYOP assignments are all tools of destruction. So there's nobody in your gang stalking circus freak show that will ever teach you that what you're doing is murder. Shit, they don't care. They're in it for themselves. Some of them are actual demons. I'm going to say that again. Some of them are actual demons. But when you look at them, they look like regular humans. I'll attach a link to a video to where I talk about that. But nobody in your circle of strife is going to ever school you up to help get you up out of it. They want your soul, honey. They want you to be so distraught with all of the evil things you've done that you give up on life itself or just go full on strife. So, by default, you all have compromised your salvation. That means if your avatar kicks out, your body dies. You're going to the lowest vibratory frequency throughout the dominion of the cosmos. Some people call it a hell. But either way, it's the second death. So, hear me when I say this, gang stalkers. You all are dead. Don't even know it. You all are dead. Don't even know it. So, just because you've accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior at some point in your life, with you participating in all of this murderous psychological torture, psychological mayhem, with your stupid little psyop assignments that you like to cast out at people, you have forsaked your own salvation. So I would fix that if I were you, because once you make amends between you and God, you have to tell the truth. It's all predicated on telling the truth, which I've shared in other videos, which is make video confessions of your observations and your doings of what you have participated in, which you've observed others participated in, who you consorted with, the dates, and who you attacked and expected outcomes. Then commit it to paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can just dear diary it if you have to. And then make sure your name is on there, your signature, your date of birth. Take it to a notary public, notarize it, and then send it to the appropriate authorities. You'll have to figure that out. I suggest visit targetedjustice.com for it. And when you mail it, make copies of the original. Mail it to who you need to. Send it registered mail. And this is important. Take that tracking number, put it on the body of the letter. That's how you tell the truth. And anything less than that, it's non-negotiable. Don't go running to your victims and telling them what you did without any of that, because it's null and void then. You need to be accountable, and that's how you become accountable. And then if you want to kick it up a notch, bring other souls with you. And that's how you become the prodigal superhero. Just because you got sucked into it or jumped into it, into the gang stalking participation, doesn't mean you have to die there. So that's how you tell the truth, because as it is right now, if you participated in all of this, you all are dead. Don't even know it. Look up Testimony of Hell. You'll see common denominators and people who have never even collaborated with one another. So that's it for now. Just really wanted to talk to you guys about these gang stalkers. You all are dead. Don't even know it. I'd fix that if I were you, while you still have presence of mind. Because when it's your time, you may not get a chance to make amends of any sort, let alone for your salvation.